Hey, what's up, guys? I was a little bit harsh on Smacks and RB the last time you saw the video where I was reacting to, is it Sandro Minge? Because Sandro Minge actually produced better quality than Smacks and RB. And when I reacted to this video a little bit, you know, I didn't went into it all the way, but then a fellow member of the chat said I should go into it all the way. So I am gonna do it, and we're gonna approach this from scratch because I don't want to implement the video in a way that I'm gonna say that you have to watch the other video in order to get what I'm talking about in the first half. So I'm just gonna approach this as new. I watched about up to here, I believe, and I just rage quit. But let's go.
Has recently announced another brand new game at TGS, which is called Petite Planet. With Honkai Nexus Anima just being revealed in May of this year, let's be honest, this is the fastest they've ever pumped out new titles back to back. But while this might sound exciting for some, we gotta stop and ask, at what cost? Because when you look at the state of Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and Zenless Zone Zero, it's hard not to feel like Hoyoverse is quietly abandoning ship. They've been on cruise control for months now, letting these games burn while they build new IPs in the background. So today,
This idea doesn't make any sense. I've said this in the video before, but I'll say it again. Like, when Hoyoverse makes a new game, it's not like they're just saying that, okay, let me take my developers from here and put them into the other studio. They normally try to implement a brand. It's like groups, individual groups that work on a specific game. You have a group that work on Zenless Zero specifically. You have a group that work on Genshin Impact. You have a group that work on Honkai Star Rail. As much as you would not like to admit it, the reason why Honkai Star Rail go after Genshin Impact so hard was because they were actually competing. And because Honkai Star Rail was delivering such good quality to the players, Genshin Impact had to step it up. I always have to say this, like, the reason Genshin Impact had to step up was not mostly because of Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves barely scratched the surface. It was all because of Honkai Star Rail. Honkai Star Rail was the reason why Genshin Impact had to be given free 5-star standard branded characters on anniversaries now. Bro.
I wanted to talk about what feels like a pattern, a cycle that's becoming impossible to ignore. Hoyoverse has been
You know what's a pattern? The pattern is you making the exact same video 192 times.
Expanding faster than ever before, and don't get me wrong, new IPs are cool, but when your current games are struggling this hard, it's fair to question whether the expansion
struggling, bro. It's why you always do this, bro? Bro, it's struggling. He said Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail is struggling, right? Now, answer me this. If Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail are struggling with the numbers that they pull here, alright, so here, right? Genshin Impact made 42 million, right? Honkai Star Rail, 39 million. Right? And Wuthering Waves 21 million. If these two are struggling, what on earth is Wuthering Waves doing? If Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail is struggling, then this means that Wuthering Waves is end of service. I don't feel like this is struggling, man. I don't know. And Zenless Zone Zero, because I know people are gonna talk about it, is a little bit down right now. I understand that. End of service. I get that. But we'll bounce back. It's okay.
Expansion is coming at the cost of the quality and care we used to expect. Because, let's face it, Genshin
Quality and care we used to expect. You're not a Hoyo player. Genshin Impact didn't have any quality. Quality? Yeah, Genshin Impact had quality. Genshin Impact had quality. Care, Genshin Impact didn't have, because Genshin Impact had a monopoly in the market, so they didn't really care because they know that you're gonna have to play the game anyway because it is the only game that was standing out on mobile as a gacha game at that time. So they didn't really care too much. You'll have something that you want to change, but they say, yeah, we don't have to change it because we have a monopoly. It's not the case anymore because of the new breed of gacha games that are putting up a good fight against Genshin Impact, which means that Genshin Impact has to be more lenient with their rewards. So it's different now. But the quality in the storytelling, music, and everything else has always been there. It's just that I don't know. People wanted more rewards, which I absolutely agree with, and better rates and stuff like that. So those will come with competition. Like no matter what, as long as there's a monopoly in the market, that company that has a monopoly will always take advantage of the customers because we have no choice. The more choice there is, the better thing to be for everybody.
Isn't the same as it used to be ever since Natlin. Genshin has just been on a downtrend recently. Honkai Star Rail's story is butt cheeks, along with their increased predatory practices and crappy gameplay loop. This drove the players away in the 3.x series.
Fam, this will make a lot of sense, but because you don't even understand the lore to the own game that you're glazing, I cannot take it seriously.
And Zenless Zone Zero feels like they're trying to hang on for dear life, while inflation, silent nerfs, crappy character designs, and uninspired story rams their player base from behind. So why now? Why push two brand new projects around the same time and not use these resources on their previous games? But before,
because you don't understand Hoyoverse. Hoyoverse goal, maybe he's new to the gacha space. I'm guessing. I'm just hoping he's new to the gacha space. But if you don't know, Hoyoverse goal is to make an ecosystem of games. They're not making copies of Genshin Impact. They're not trying to make Genshin Impact 2, Honkai Star Rail 2, Xenosaga Zero 2. They're trying to make a game in every single genre to cater to every single type of player base. It's a family of games under one branch. Like, even Tectone knows this. How do you not know this? Tectone does maybe knows it. I'm not sure, but
before we dig deeper into this video, if you've been enjoying the content recently, make sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss out on
hey, you hear that? Make sure you
any
like and
future
subscribe.
videos. Also, my community Discord is pinned in the comment section down below for those of you that want to join and say what up. Now, without further ado, let's get into this. Back in May, Hoyoverse announced Honkai Nexus Anima, and not even 4 months later revealed Petite Planet during Tokyo Game Show. Was really shocking.
Bro, if you didn't know, and I said this in that video before, but if you don't know, the Petite Island was leaked a while, that they were working on it for a while now, and the kind of Pokemon ripoff was not so Pokemon ripoff. It's like a auto battler. Was leaked a while before it actually come out. These aren't games that people were not expecting. People were expecting these games to come out. But
is how fast this is happening. Historically, Hoyoverse takes its time between launches. There's usually years in between each big project. Honkai Impact 3rd came out in October of 2016. Genshin Impact was released in 2020. Honkai Star Rail came out 3 years later in 2023. Then Zenless Zone Zero hit in 2024. So with
and why is that? Why is that? This could be, you know, because of a company's growth, a company getting larger in terms of their amount of workers and stuff like that. You know, it could be that. It could be that. The more they gain popularity, the more people want to work for them, the more easier it is for them to bring in talent, the more faster they can push out a project. One thing I can say for the most part is that Hoyoverse, when they push out a project, they make sure that it's well flushed out before they push it out. They don't do like some other game that some people like to glaze that does push out the update and then half the community couldn't play it because it was full of bugs and they had to compensate by giving people a free 5-star, which they utilize and say after a year on the anniversary that they don't need to give you a free 5-star because they already gave you a free 5-star in the beginning when the game was buggy.
this trend since 2023, we're quite literally seeing Hoyoverse spam new games faster than ever. With just a little over ZZZ's 1 year mark, we're now already seeing 2 new games in development that looks like they easily could be released next year. Now, let's be real here. At this current point in time, I think it's fair to say that this might be the weakest state we've ever seen Hoyoverse in. All three of their major titles are struggling in one way or another. People are tired of.
I think we need to do this, bro. I've never done this before. What? First of all, I don't understand why is my internet is not bad, but somehow it's just. Let's go. Because we need to get something here, right? Right. All right. So, 42 million. Let's just use the estimate, right? 42 million, right? Okay, star out 39 million. Okay. See, this is even smaller than what it should be supposed to be. Right? And we're at plus again, right? Let's get the dead game too. How far is it? It's way down here? No, I'm just trolling. It's not that far. Here we go. 10 million, right? And we add everything. 91 million in total between all three games. Let me ask you something, Smacks and RB. Do you have 91 million USD right now? Because 91 million USD is not struggling in a single month. I don't know where are you getting your numbers from, but it's that's not struggling, man. Come on.
The BS that Hoyo has put them through, people are catching on to the repeated cycles, and people are starting to put their focus into other games. It's like each of these games are just coasting by.
How could you say people are putting focus into other game? Whatever is literally only have the story to do in the next patch. Yeah, I have your biggest content creator, Saint Tontas, coming over to play Hoyoverse games because there's nothing to do in Wither Waves. Like,
running on autopilot. There's no real push for innovation or passion behind these updates anymore. Hoyoverse seems to be focused on keeping the lights on rather than actually pushing these games to thrive the way they once used to. Now, here's the thing. This strategy.
That's the problem that I have with him, because I'll keep giving praises to Sanju Mange, because at least with Sanju Mange, he actually delivers talking points and topics that actually make sense. Like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. His statement is that Hoyoverse is not doing anything to improve the story, when literally the entire reason for Genshin Impact 6.0 was to take a different approach to the story, to be more lore heavy and to flush out the characters better, which they actually did a good job with, and use more cutscenes, try to put more emotions into the characters, the way they move and stuff like that. And I have seen the improvement. In fact, there's a little bit too much story, because every single time I go into a new area, I end up meeting up into a brand new story. It just makes no sense.
Strategy might work in the short term, but long term, it's dangerous. Players notice when you stop caring, and right now, communities across all Hoyoverse titles are more vocal than ever. Across all three games, people are seeking change.
Where is this vocality? There's no vocality. Like, this is the ongoing war that only Max and RB is experiencing. Nobody else is experiencing this apart from this guy.
That still hasn't been answered, with in some cases spanning over months and years, especially for Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Some complaints still haven't been addressed, which in turn are driving these games downward. Instead of reinvesting profits into making these games better, refining systems, listening.
This is a hard take. This is a wild take that I'm gonna make, but I've given it a lot of thought. And there's a skip button that people want. Wither Waves players, not Wither Waves players, Hoyo haters. I'm gonna start calling them Wither Waves players and let's call them Hoyo haters. Hoyo haters want a skip button in Genshin Impact. I don't want it. As much as I can see the benefits for a skip button in Genshin Impact, I don't want it. If us not having a skip button means that dog shit content creators like Saint Tontus and Co can keep their ass out of Genshin Impact so they don't have to play the story, I'm okay with that. Because Saint Tontus don't even understand the lore for his own game, whatever it is.
The feedback, Hoyoverse is choosing to fund entirely new games. It's like you own 3 houses, all of them are falling apart, and instead of fixing the leaks, you're buying 2 more properties across town. Sure, it looks ambitious, but eventually
That's smart. So you're not a business guy. Like, I will use your analogy because that's actually something I can use in this video. Let's say, for example, you come into some money and you buy your first house and you start renting that house first, right? You have the house having a little problem and stuff like that, and you come into some more money. Buying another house too, or building up another house to have that to rent as well, will definitely generate way more money than just fixing the house and just keeping the house as is. You can always fix the house or fix the leaks or stuff like that in the original house eventually. But there is nothing wrong with buying another house and then putting that house on rent as well so you can get even more money. There's absolutely nothing wrong. That is the mindset of somebody that wants to make money. So I don't see anything wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong if you want to make money.
you're just left with a bunch of half-maintained homes. And that's where the frustration comes in. Imagine if they didn't do this. Imagine if the resources going into Nexus Anima and Petite Planet were instead redirected back into improving their current lineup. Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero.
That wouldn't make any difference because, as the Hoyo haters normally say, it's just going to Daoi's yacht. So it's better it goes to these new games than to Daoi's yacht, right? Isn't it?
All these games could be in a much better state and completely thriving. Only if more resources were put into these games, feedback was answered, and change was made. We're not asking for miracles, just effort. Hoyoverse has.
What are you asking for, though? I still don't know what are you asking for. Can you elaborate on that? Can you like say something?
The money, they've made billions across these games. It's not a matter of capability, it's a matter of choice. And the choice they're making right now sends a clear message. They're focused on expansion, not refinement. So for those of you that are Hoyoverse fans, now's the time to be careful with how much you invest into these games. Now, don't get me wrong, new IPs aren't inherently bad. Nexus Anima and Petite Planet might end up being great games. To be quite frank, if
they won't be as successful as Honkai Star and Genshin Impact. I give you that. They won't be on that level, but they will will do good for what they're aiming for. And the Nexus Anima is like aimed for children. The Animal Crossing ripoff is like aimed for like everyone, basically a chill game. I'm gonna be playing that game. That game look really cool.
pulled off a gotcha Animal Crossing and made it good, I mean, all the power to them. But I can't ignore the pattern. It's a cycle. They build something great, milk it, plateau, and move on. But eventually, players are going to stop following. I mean, we're seeing it now more than ever. Players are leaving Genshin after Natlan. People are fed up and leaving HSR after 3.x.
Fam, who's gonna tell him that Tectone himself is currently playing Genshin Impact Not Cry? Because Tectone said he's gonna come back to play Not Cry and Genshin Impact. So I am confident that he's actually currently playing it. I'm guessing. I'm not saying he is. I'm just guessing. But who's gonna tell him that Saint Tontus likely is playing Not Cry? Who's gonna tell him that Glaive Key is playing Not Cry? Who's gonna tell him that Captain Cabinet is playing Not Cry?
And ZZZ, well, ZZZ dropped the ball quite literally after the game dropped, because they thought it was a great idea to have players in TVs more than combat. But regardless, you get my point. It's getting to the point now.
So he says that the TV system, but he nowhere in it has he addressed that, Zenless Zone Zero actually fixed that TV issue. He didn't say that. The way he worded it, you would think that the TV is still prominent in the game, and it's one of the reasons why you shouldn't play ZZZ.
Where people can genuinely start questioning why should they get invested into these games when the quality is just going to tank within a small window of time. Then Hoyo gets up and goes and starts making a new game. To me, there's absolutely no point. And honestly, if you're still a Hoyoverse fan right now, I'd be worried. Not because it's wrong to enjoy their games. I mean, all the power to you. Genshin, Star Rail, ZZZ, they were all great games at one point. But the reason I'd be worried is because it's becoming clearer and clearer that Hoyoverse doesn't view these games as long-term homes anymore. They view them as projects, temporary stops on the roadmap.
Fam, the dev stream for Genshin Impact, they literally said that they're planning to run Genshin for the next 10, 20 years, even more. They literally said that. Like, how are you going to be saying that they don't plan to run Genshin Impact long term when Honkai Star Rail, a very old game right now, is still running not Honkai Star Rail, I mixed it up. Honkai Impact 3rd. A very old game is currently being run right now this day. Still, I can download Honkai Impact 3rd right now and play. I think I have it on the PC. Right? Yeah, right here. What are you talking about, bro? Jesus, bro.
To the next big thing. Maybe they're like you guys and they're making these games in hopes they might blow up like Genshin did. Maybe they have a gambling addiction too. I don't know. If you've been around since the early Genshin days, or maybe year one of HSR, or maybe even that 1 to 2 month window for ZZZ during patch 1.3 and 1.4, you probably remembered how passionate the devs seemed. But now it feels like they stopped trying to grow these games and started treating them like cash cows. It's like they're trying to see how much more money they can milk out of their player base until they fall flat. And that's why it's so scary as a fan. You invest time, money, energy, and yet the studio that you're loyal to is already halfway out the door, eyes on their next shiny thing. If this cycle keeps repeating, hype, neglect, abandon, then where does that leave you all? Why should the player stay loyal when the loyalty isn't being returned? That's the question all of you.
This is bullshit. I don't know who it was. Not easy. People said that abandoned their game, and what else is it? Tribe 9 Studio, the game studio that made Tribe 9, they abandoned Tribe 9 to make a brand new game. That's what you call abandon. Like, abandon is not keeping a game running for years and years. I'm pretty sure Honkai Impact 3rd is coming up to 10 years now run as a gacha game, and they didn't abandon it. The story finished and they continue. The devs were asked on Genshin Impact about what will happen when they conclude the story in Tevat, and they literally said it's Genshin Impact 2 after that. They're planning to visit new worlds in this game and stuff like that. So, bro, as much as people love to hate, I know, like, Hoyoverse have a track record of keeping their game alive. Like, how are we going to come here and say that, yo, Hoyoverse is going to abandon you when the devs themselves said they're going to be doing this for the next 10, 20 years? And it actually makes a lot of sense. Like, if I have my house and I'm renting it out, and I am renting out and it's making money, why would I cut the cash flow? That doesn't make any sense. You keep milking it. Like, these gacha games, including Wither Ways, are not here to make friends with you. They're here to take your money. Absolutely. Every single one of them. Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, Wither Waves, every single one of them. Like, let's be honest here. Whatever ways is not doing this because of genuinity and like out of pocket. Like if whatever ways had a good launch, they would have never been anywhere near as generous as they were. And that's
You
just a
should be
fact.
asking yourselves. There's also a risk of Hoyoverse burning out their own brand. And honestly, that might already be happening. Back when a new Hoyoverse title was announced, it meant something to everyone. Something that the whole gacha community used to be hype about. It was rare. It was an event. You'd see massive hype, fan speculation, entire communities forming around the game before it even dropped. But now, it's starting to feel like a routine, and suddenly people are just simply burnt out with Hoyoverse. And the more they dilute their identity with these half-effort games, the harder it's going to be to get players truly excited about anything. These games don't really feel special. It feels like desperation. So yeah, seeing Hoyoverse announce 2 brand new games this quickly isn't just surprising, it's concerning. It tells us where their priorities lie. And sadly, it's not with the community that built them up. And honestly, I think we've reached a point where players' trust in Hoyoverse is at an all-time low. You can feel it in the community, man. Back when Honkai Star Rail was first revealed, or when Zenless Zone Zero dropped the first trailer, everyone was hyped. There was that buzz, that feeling of Hoyoverse dropped something new.
Yeah, this reminds me of something, really. Right? It got 21 million views. The haters, the whatever is haters. Fuck. I need to stop doing that. The Hoyo haters think that this was an ad. Why it got so much views. When in reality, the reason why it got so much views was because it was hype. A lot of people like that character. Okay? But it's always the thing where people, the Hoyo haters, try to downplay any achievement that Hoyoverse have and try to overglaze anything on Wooden Wave's side.
People aren't excited. A lot of people already written these games off. They're simply just tired. They're looking at these announcements and can already see the massive nightmare these games will eventually turn into. And that speaks volumes, because when the audience stops celebrating your reveals, when the name Hoyoverse no longer guarantees excitement, that's not on the players, that's on the studio. They burn through so much goodwill that even new games, which should feel fresh and exciting, are now met with skepticism. That's the damage they've done to themselves. And once you lose that spark, once your community stops believing in you, well, it might be time to pack it up, brother. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Petite Planet succeeds, but not Honkai Anima Nexus. That's some straight copy and paste BS. But realistically, these games shouldn't shine at the cost.
Copy and paste BS? Bro, I was expecting Pokemon from Honkai Anima. It's not Pokemon. Like, if it was Pokemon, I would have played it, but it's just not Pokemon. If it played exactly or similar to Pokemon, I would play it 100%. It's not a copy.
Genshin, Star Rail, or ZZZ. Because no matter how delusional I think these Hoyo shows are, these diehard fans shouldn't be the ones getting the crappy end of the stick. What do you guys think? Do you feel like Hoyoverse is spreading itself too thin? Or is this just the natural evolution of a studio this big? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know what you all think.
I'm curious to know what they all think as well. What do y'all think? Hoyo goes from take Hoyo saves how to give me your money. Don't forget that we are planning to build a theme park. I do wonder how they will adapt the mass HP inflation in the theme park. Hope my health got inflation. Hope my health got inflation whenever I get heat there. Hello. I like how they're trying to justify their monetization during Genshin and Notcry stream. How Hoyo is a big company now, and basically they made a small profit due to the massive cost of running everything. But this is the thing, us players don't make this decision. This is, yeah. Genshin Impact has been doing a lot in terms of spending a lot in the game when it comes down to props and like these big musicals and stuff like that. They are doing a lot. Fool me once, you're lucky. Fool me twice, da da da. the thing is, this hoyo hate just never ever works. And why it never ever works is because the people that hate on hoyo, all these people right here, are not playing Genshin Impact, are not playing Zenizone Zero and Honkai Star Rail. So even if they say they're leaving, they already left. They're not changing anything. And is this right here is all just to try to convince people that are playing Genshin Impact to not play Genshin Impact. While the people that are playing Genshin Impact are not really watching this at all. They're just playing Genshin Impact and enjoying it for what it is. But it is what it is. How did I do that? I've learned nothing. I've literally learned nothing. Now, excuse me, I have to figure out like why is videos lagging so much, man. The internet is bad. I know that at the moment, but Jesus Christ, it lags too much. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy. Like, this is why I would like to react to this guy, absolutely, but all of his videos say nothing. There's nothing to interact with because the entire time the video is just not saying anything whatsoever. This is just slop content for people that want to jerk themselves off from getting wooden ways glazed and hoyo bad. He literally just doesn't produce any real points whatsoever. And when he says something, he just says the most vague things that is full of ways of interpretation. That I think he's just farming these people. I honestly believe it. Because even this video right now, I can't make sense of it. Like, what I accomplished here, guys? What did I accomplish? I literally accomplished anything. Nothing at all. The only thing that he probably mentioned is that the new games are like gonna end the Genshin Impact because they're gonna put all their efforts into these games and just completely kill off their cash cows in Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. Mind you, Genshin Impact has been going on for how much years now? 5 years. And one of their biggest banners, two of their biggest banners, Skirk and Mavika, is around $190 million. I don't think Genshin Impact is dropping like that. As I said, to the TLDR, to bring down this video, it's just the fact that Hoyoverse is building a community of games. They're not trying to, how should I say this? They're not trying to make to like say, oh, we're gonna end of service this game, like what Tribe 9 did, end of service one game to bring this new game that you should play because we end of service this game. Because that's a poor way of handling things. How they should have handled that, Tribe 9, they should have said that, okay, we're gonna EOS, right? But the characters that you get here are weapons. You are going to be able to carry them over to this new game that we're developing and then build on top of that. But they just handle the situation poorly. But anyways, this, bro, I much rather react to, where is he? I much rather react to my brother, because my brother over here actually is bringing talking points compared to Smacksan RB. And this is not, I have to say this again, it's not my channel. It's not my channel. I am just Jesus Christ. Oh my god, bro. I don't even know, man. Smackdown is just not worth the time because he's just not saying anything whatsoever. He really isn't. I respect the hustle, absolutely. I don't want to put any hate towards him, but like he's just not saying anything whatsoever.